This tutorial will teach you how to form affirmative to commands. If you have not watched the Introduction to Commands video, you should watch that before watching this one. Remember that to commands are used to tell a friend, a sibling, anyone that you would address as to, what to do or what not to do. And of course, affirmative to commands are used to tell these people what to do. Remember again that to commands can only be used to tell one person at a time what to do. Most affirmative to commands are pretty simple to form. All we have to do is look at our verb chart and we use the third person singular form of the verb. We know that that's the form that would be found right here on the verb chart. So for instance, if you wanted to tell someone to eat, we'd use the verb comer, and if we looked at our verb chart, the third person singular form we would find right here on the verb chart, and that is come. And that's what we would use for our to command to tell someone eat. If we wanted to tell someone eat the sandwich, we would just add that information. So that's all there is to forming affirmative to commands, as long as they are regular commands. Another example, if you wanted to tell someone to speak or talk, you would use the verb hablar. Again, we're going to use the third person singular form of the verb, and so that would give us the command habla. Now you might be asking yourself, if we're using that third person singular form of the verb, how do I know that it's a command and not a statement about some third person individual? Well, you just have to use the context to tell that. But these are the steps that we follow. Take the third person singular form of the verb and either use it as a standalone sentence or add additional information like we did here to form a command. Now I said that that's what we do for regular to commands. It turns out that there are quite a few verbs that have irregular command forms. As is often the case in Spanish, it's a lot of the most common verbs that have irregular command forms. Here we see the irregular to commands, irregular affirmative to commands, I should say. Decir becomes di, hacer, has, ir, ve, poner, pon, salir, sal, ser, se, tener, ten, and venir, ven. Now we see some similarities here. Like a lot of these, the yo form is a go verb. Poner, the yo form is pongo. We just cut off the go. You can try to remember some patterns like that, but the easiest thing might be to just go ahead and memorize this list and know that these are irregular affirmative to commands. We're going to use these in exactly the same way that we would use any other affirmative to command. So for instance, if we wanted to say come now, we would just take the command for venir, which means to come. That command is ven. So we would say ven ahora. So there's nothing tricky about actually using these. It's just that we do have to memorize them as irregulars, and we have to remember what those irregular forms are. So to summarize the main points here, we use affirmative to commands to tell a friend, a sibling, etc. what to do. Normally we use the third person singular form of the verb, but there are several irregulars that just have to be memorized.